Michael, and I'm continuing my case study on the Project 200. And in this video, I want to start getting to the heart of the whole purpose of the Project 200, and that's starting to approach people, but specifically with a certain kind of offer. So I'm going to talk about how I'm going to develop my first offer and my thinking behind it so you can kind of get a good feel for maybe how this process might work for you. So let's get into what I want to do here. Now, I mentioned in an earlier video, I'm going to focus on two products. I'm going to keep it simple with one carrier, and I know the underwriting process. So the first product that I want to focus on is term insurance. Now, the nice thing about term life insurance is it's pretty easy to understand. It's not as expensive as whole life, and it's easier to sell because it is a little bit cheaper, and people can get more life insurance for the same amount of money. It's kind of an easier product to sell than the whole life insurance, which has cash value. You get less insurance and you got to pay more money for it. So people will buy both types depending on the type of person they are and what they're looking for. But one thing that I know about insurance is that some people have these contracts called universal life insurance policies, and the problem with those particular kinds of contracts are that if you don't pay the premiums all the time, then your policy that you think might last your whole life isn't funded properly to get through your whole life. And at some point, they'll come back, the insurance company will, and say, hey, you're going to need to pay more money in order to have this policy. So in a sense, they've got a term policy that's only good for a certain period of time, and then they're paying more for it, because that guarantee isn't going to be there for them. So we got to identify those. So let me give you a specific example. My mom had a policy that she had, and she even paid the premiums all on time. And when she reached a certain age in the contract, there was a provision that said that when she turned 65, they're going to check the value of the policy. And if it was sufficient to carry the policy from that point forward, then they would not change her premium, and her premium would be good the rest of her life. However, of course, there wasn't enough money in the policy, and that test was failed, and that provision in the contract gave them an opportunity to raise the premium, which is exactly what they did, and then they priced her out of it. So a lot of people have policies that they think are going to last for their entire life because that's kind of what they remember when it was sold to them. However, even if sometimes, like my mom, they do everything like they're supposed to, or if they do not meet their end of the bargain, they're going to be in a situation where they don't have a contract at some point in the future. So that's an opportunity that I can identify where it's a potential problem that could affect people. Now, not everybody has a policy like that. So if I contact somebody and I say, hey, the reason I'm calling you is because there are people with certain types of policies that might expire without them really knowing that's what's going to happen. And I just called to check and see if that might be your situation so we can make sure that doesn't happen to you. So that'd be the way I'd kind of present an offer like that. So what I'm going to do is, with that particular concept in mind, I'm going to kind of write down how I want to present that to people. And then if they're in that situation and they go, well, maybe that might be me, then I'm going to be prepared to get extra information about that. And if not, then I might ask them a few questions anyway, and it'll depend on what they say. So I want to kind of be prepared to find out that if they have a policy like that, a strategy to handle it. If they're not even interested, that's easy. We just say, okay, thanks. And if they they don't have a policy that could be in that situation or don't know, we can kind of maybe get some extra information to kind of find out. So this goes back to having a certain kind of offer that you can kind of find a way to help people with a potential problem that they may or may not know is there. And so it just kind of opens the door a little bit more effectively than, hey, I want to come by and show you the work I want to do. So what I'm going to be working on is kind of writing down what I want to say so that when I call people, I'm prepared, and I'll give you some tips about how to go about doing that. But before I leave you in this video, what you're going to need to do for whatever it is that you're working on is you need to kind of identify how you feel you fit in with the products that you want to put in place. So once you do that, then you need to formulate how you're going to present that offer, and then you're going to start presenting it to people and see what kind of responses you get, and then you're going to start modifying that and improving as you go along. All right. If you got any questions, put them in the comments, and I'll be happy to help you out in any way I can if I am able to do that. So if you want to subscribe too, just hit the subscribe button on YouTube here, and talk to you soon.